Mitch Marner makes a leap to fifth on the NHL Network's top 20 wingers list. That's our main topic on another hot Marner summer edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing and event consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports, and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, in addition to our number one topic, we'll also talk about declining tourism here in Las Vegas and its impact on the Golden Knights home games at the Fortress, which is a pretty interesting take. And Jeremy Lauzon brings physicality to the VGK defense. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So, Chris, Mitch Marner was ranked 5th this year, was 10th rated winger a season ago, and he's ranked right now behind Nikita Kucherov, David Pastrnak, Kirill Kaprizov, Mikko Rantanen. He is in an elite company there with the top wingers in the NHL now.
Yeah, I mean, this is another feather in the cap, of course, of the work that Kelly McCrimmon has done and identifying areas of opportunity for this team. It starts with you need a number one center. Okay, hi, Jack Eichel. You need a number one D-man. Of course, hello, Alex Pietrangelo. Obviously, Pietrangelo no longer around, which frees up a lot of money. So the Golden Knights need a number one winger, in this case, the number 5 overall winger per the NHL Network. And the ratings seem fine. I mean, like you said, Kucherov, Pastrnak, Kaprizov, Mikko Rantanen, and then insert Mitch Marner. You got Nylander, Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart, Kyle Connor, and Panarin rounding out the top 10.
William Nylander, that's an interesting story there. Ranked 6th, as you mentioned. Leafs fans feel now that he can pick up a lot of the slack left behind from Mitch Marner. 84 points last season, but a couple of seasons ago, 98 points. And so it's going to be interesting to see if he picks up a lot more of the weight offensively for Toronto.
100%. And with Mitch Marner's exit from Toronto, there's going to be a lot of opportunity up there for a lot of things to happen. I think the passing of the torch isn't Nylander or Tavares. I think it's Matthew Knies. Matthew Knies, youngster, 22, 23 years old, something like that. Just up-and-coming talents and mostly known in Vegas by getting knocked out pretty much by Zach Whitecloud early last season. So we'll see if Whitecloud can continue that physicality. But on the side of the Maple Leafs, yeah, I mean, of course, like we talked about in Tuesday's episode, I believe, about points to be ate up, if you will, by the defenseman in Pietrangelo's absence. Same thing in Toronto, right? They're seeing 100 possible points. Who's going to get them? Nylander, Tavares, Austin Matthews, and then obviously Nicholas Waugh should hopefully get a few of those. And we'll see if they can erase the loss of Marner, not just with the points, but of course in their standings and everything.
Okay, I have to ask you, is Pavel Dorofeev a season away from breaking into the top 20 wingers? What are your thoughts on that?
God, I mean, you look at the bottom side, Brat Hagel, Brady Tkachuk, Clayton, two Tkachuks in the top 20. Great family bloodlines there. Robertson, Ovechkin, Forsberg, Boldy, Adrian Kempe. I mean, a season away, I think you need to do it for a little bit longer to be considered among the top 20. That doesn't mean if he scores 32 goals and he's not ranked in the top 20, that doesn't mean he's definitely not a great winger and approaching that elite status. Now, if you and I, God willing, we're still doing this podcast 3 years from now, and we're talking about 3 consecutive seasons of Dorofeev hitting 35 or greater goals, and his defensive game improves and his assists improve, then he's probably closer to the top 12 than the bottom 20, so to speak.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do at 6 a.m. We'll still be doing this in 3 years. I have to ask about Mark Stone. Consistent, but not on any list. You never find him anywhere, right?
Stone's game isn't the type of game that's going to get noticed outside of maybe some random Selkie voting and stuff like that. Now, listen, if we see 2 consecutive seasons of Mark Stone getting 75 games and 75 points, then sure, that would obviously, as a 35-year-old at that point, would get him consideration in something like this. But Stone's health is the number one issue because when he's on the ice, he's been right around a point per game player, which is sometimes hard to understand because you watch his game. He doesn't skate very well. He doesn't really move very well, but he excels between the blue lines at creating turnovers. And on the offensive end of the ice, he knows exactly either where he needs to be or where he needs to get the puck to. So, I mean, I guess if you were to take this down to the top 30 wingers, do you put Mark Stone in there? And at face value, I would lean closer to yes than no, but without writing down the names on a napkin and ranking them and everything, I don't know how close he would get to that point.
On that list, does anyone pop out there as over or underrated? Um, Number 15, Clayton Keller, I think he's on the rise. Here's one for you that's kind of faltering. I went back to the 2024 list, and Jason Robertson is now number 16, and he was number 6 winger a season ago on the NHL Network's top 20 wingers list. And I don't know what all the hullabaloo is like, to be honest with you. With Robertson, he's not flashy, he gets things done, but I'm not quite sure about his game overall. What are your thoughts?
I mean, is it because in 22-23 he had 109 points and then he only had 80 points in the last 3 games? I mean, is that what we're talking about here?
Right.
I mean, are we talking about someone who has played 246 of a possible 246 games in the last 3 regular seasons? I mean, playoff scoring. Well, he had in his 109-point season, he had 18 points in 19 games. In his 80-point season, he had 16 points in 19 playoff games, and then he dropped down to 6 points in the 24-25 playoffs, which maybe irked some Stars fans possibly. But I mean, what gets me is all the trade talk and everything you heard about Jason Robertson. Of course, Mitch
Right.
Marner's name was tied directly to a lot of that, and obviously that didn't come to fruition. I was shocked to even hear Jason Robertson's name in trade talks. Like, what more are we looking for out of a 26-year-old here? A little bit of a late bloomer as far as the NHL is concerned, but he's been dynamite really since joining the scene in 2020-21, putting up 45 points as a rookie. So I don't know what more Stars fans can want. I don't know what more the front office is looking for. If they feel that he went from 109 points, which seems like a blip in the radar, to a pair of 80-point seasons, that seems like life is pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
I really think Robertson gets it done sort of quietly. I don't think, again, he's just not a flashy type player, but those points start to accumulate, just in my opinion. Number 9, Kyle Connor. Real interesting. I don't feel as though he gets the respect that is needed there
He's a
because
Jet. That's why, Tony.
he's in Winnipeg. Yeah, he's in Winnipeg, not a big media market. 97-point season this past year, up 36 points from the previous season, although he missed a lot of time after that knee-on-knee exchange with Ryan Strome, and that's how he was knocked out of the lineup. And I just think that he is a player to be reckoned with consistently. I think he's a solid player. But again, there's a guy at number 9 that probably the least talked about in the top 10.
I mean, going all the way back to basically his first full season as a Jet in 2017-18, 57 points, 76 games, 66 and 82 the following season. Recent point totals, 97 and 82 last year. A year before, 61 and 65, 80 and 82. But again, he's a Jet. And it's in my personal business with hockey cards and collectibles, Winnipeg Jets cards just don't really have the same value, if you will, as other cards. There's just a very lack of excitement about on Winnipeg, and you see it up there, right? The home games, their attendance struggles outside of the playoffs and everything. So it makes sense, I guess, why he's just kind of under the radar.
No sign of Steven Stamkos. Was 13th on the list last year. Now he's just gone. He's off the list entirely. Coming up next, we've got an interesting take from the hockey writers in a recent article on how declining tourism will test VGK's business model this upcoming season. Stay with us right here on Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Summer sports, it's the dog days right now. Of course, baseball under the lights. However, the savior of the NFL starts tonight, preseason. Raiders at Seattle, Las Vegas -4 and a hook, 37.5 the
Geno
total on
Smith
that
revenge
game.
game.
He'll probably play a series up there just to get whet the appetite there of the fans and get
Free
the
handoffs and
12s
good game, bro.
fired up. Pete Carroll looked up his record against the spread in preseason games, 28-20-2. 28-20. He likes to win these preseason games. He'll go up against Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe tonight. So you might want to take a look at that. Again, you could take a look at FanDuel. You like that take, right?
Love it.
You can track your favorite matchups, and the app keeps fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. Preseason football, get in on the action. And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel is America's #1 preseason betting sportsbook.
Let's go. Bring it.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks so much, especially to our everydayers. Your good friend stayed till the very end and got your shout out the other day. Erabs. Yeah.
Oh God, that was great. Yeah, I was going to hit him on the side and be like, "Hey, you got to check this out." And
he's not Shea Theodore. He stayed till the end.
No, definitely, he stayed till the end. That was great. So with the Dave Wanstead, he got a hip. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Tomorrow's, of course, WTF Day. Of course, please leave your comments on our X account. For the past 6 months, Chris, Las Vegas tourism, it's been dipping. The numbers have been down. Visitation was down double digits in the month of June, 11%. Business on the Strip is down, and some properties look like ghost towns. I've been on the Strip a lot lately. And Paulo Go, his angle with the hockey writers is about tourists not coming into town and filling up T-Mobile Arena, again, visiting teams, perhaps, especially from Canada due to tariffs and everything else. And this economy here, it's not doing very well. Will we see a dip in VGK's attendance this upcoming season when teams like the Oilers, Winnipeg, the teams Calgary, teams from Canada, Canadian teams come into play at T-Mobile? Let's start there.
First and foremost, I did notice last year Canadian teams certainly started dipping off. A lot of political things happening there, and I understand that. You saw that happening last year. And just going back here to, I remember the first week's worth of games against, or the first week's worth of games when the Golden Knights first started in 2017, 2018. Of course, you had the opener against the Arizona Coyotes. That was after the 1 October tragedy and everything. That was all Vegas locals at that game, probably 98% of the crowd. But then here come the Detroit Red Wings. Was it Buffalo Sabres? I'm trying to remember the first few games that week. Boston Bruins. It was Detroit and Boston, I think, were the next two games that week, if I recall. And Red Wing fans, there was more Red Wing fans in the arena than Golden Knight fans. It was like 55-45. Bruins traveled really well on that Sunday. And where I'm ultimately going with this is you had the excitement, the shine of coming to Vegas to see your team, your personal home team. You come to Vegas. So excitement, people spending a ton of money. 30, 35, 40% of a lot of the crowds in the first 2, 3, 4 seasons were visitors. That number has slowed down, especially since COVID. I don't think there's a correlation. I'm just simply using that as a checkpoints. And now it's a lot more of the locals and everything. And of course, the locals have taken great interest in the Vegas Golden Knights. You still see some teams traveling very well. I'll start with Detroit. They're probably the best travelers as far as the NHL is concerned, is in Vegas at least. And ultimately, what I do wonder is now that the Golden Knights are going to need a little more out of the local markets, how are they going to work that angle here? And that's what I'm
Hmm.
really interested to see.
Yeah. How will they market to the locals something that they really have not had to do? Again, very solid local base. One of the reasons that they
They
are
are
successful.
advertising a 24-hour. This was actually pretty cool. It got my attention. I don't know the date offhand, but T-Mobile is going to be open for 24 or 25 straight hours where you can go in, walk around, look at possible seats that are available and things like that. And then I think they're doing a promotion where if you sign some type of deal, you can get entered in a drawing to get a free year's worth of season tickets. How about the helping out the people who have been season ticket holders since day one with a promotion like that? Anyway, keep going, Tony.
Mhm. Yeah, no. And now, of course, with fewer visitors here coming into town, the service industry, which drives this entire city, workers are bringing home less cabbage. They're bringing home less money right now, and it has to have a huge impact, especially now. What I'm seeing, because I'm out with local businesses every day, I am seeing that local businesses are way down. Usually, it's the dog days of summer, and typically it gets a little bit slower. But right now, it is not very good in the locals market. And I know with everything down substantially, I'm wondering if people, again, will they take their discretionary funds and go the locals I'm talking about here in an angle that they didn't really pick up on? Will they take discretionary funds, however few there might be, and put it into going to a VGK game? The
Some
question.
definitely will. I think there's some people who have been kind of, for lack of a better term, waiting for the right opportunity to go to T-Mobile to catch either 1 or 3 or 5, however many Golden Knight games are within their budget, which hopefully will become a little more friendly this year for locals. So many different ways to take this right now, but you do wonder how the locals are going to take to this, right? Are there going to be some type of promotions geared to the locals to get people out there right now? And then are they going to spend money, like you said? I mean, discretionary funds, that's a great way to put it. I know when I go to T-Mobile Arena, especially when it's me and my son, I am trying to spend as little money as possible. We'll eat on the way at a Jack in the Box or, a Panda Express across the street. We'll keep it as cheap as we possibly can and try not to spend a dime when I'm in T-Mobile Arena, because why do I want to spend $8 for a bottle of water and $9 for a soda and $14 for a tub of crappy popcorn? And this is, I want to know what the adjustment is going to be. And some people might look at this segment and be like, why are they even bringing this up? Well, we did talk about how the Golden Knights do budget when it comes to the success of the team, and all that trickles all the way down to that bottle of water that gets purchased from the concession stand, and why season ticket holders on a random Tuesday night pay $5.58 for that bottle of water, but then on the following Monday night when the Detroit Red Wings are in town and there's more people, we pay $6.27 for that same bottle of water.
Wow. Traffic and Formula One construction keeps a lot of locals away too. Something that was not addressed in there. It's something outside of,
FUF One Fest downtown, right? Again this year, totally
yeah,
unrelated.
yeah, unrelated. Uh, they talked in this article about the 2008 recession. You know, it was starvation city. So nightclubs were offering me either buy one, get one bottles to a guy that doesn't drink, or they were just throwing away and giving me a couple of bottles to go into clubs. And so I'm wondering if we're going to be facing, a period of time. And Vegas always rebounds. This isn't doom and gloom, folks.
No.
Vegas will always rebound. It'll always come back. And right now, it's a bump in the road for our city, but they do need to clean up a few things. Got to quit nickel and diming people. It's become a tourist trap. Let's face it. And there's a lot of ways I think to address this citywide. But will there be, with a dip in the local economy? Will it hurt VGK? And right now, if the season were to start right now, I would say it's going to affect the Golden Knights and that business model.
Short answer, 100% yes, there will be an experienced drop off in revenue if there's less tourists coming to Vegas. And it's not just them coming to T-Mobile Arena, it's the money they spend ramming and jamming on Buffalo at New York after the game and all of that. Like I said, locals, we come to the Strip, we're trying to save money. You come here on vacation, you're trying to be a little, you're having a little bit more fun with that money. More locals equals less money, and Bill Foley, of all people, knows this.
Coming up next, we haven't spoken much about the new edition, and I'm not talking about Million Dollar Baby. That's one of New Edition songs. We're going to talk about Jeremy Lauzon and how he'll fit in with the VGK next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas.
New Edition too? No, maybe.
Yeah.
Boy band.
Yeah, boy band, New Edition. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day, and make sure that you leave your comments for tomorrow's WTF show. That's always the highlight of the week. I can't believe it's Friday already. Can't believe we've got football.
It's been a long week. It's been a long week, Tony. It's been a long week.
Jeremy Lauzon, acquired by the VGK in the Nick Hague deal, along with Colton Sissons. And last year, Lauzon played in just 28 games, had 1 assist, penciled in perhaps for the third pairing on the left side. And it could be either with Zach Whitecloud, or will we see him with Caden Korzak? That's a question right there. Yeah.
You'll see definitely looks with both of them. And this is not nearly the same hot topic as what line is Mitch Marner going to be on. Is he going to be with Jack Eichel? But it's the same questions, but maybe this is a little more of a concern, right? Went on YouTube just to kind of try and get some more details here about Lauzon, and it's everything is fight packages. Like, you don't see a lot of highlights and everything, but I did find one interesting thing. On November the 11th of 2018, Lauzon scores his first career goal against
VGK, right?
VGK, Malcolm Subban. Malcolm Subban just misplays a puck off the boards in Boston TD Garden, and it was a tap-in for Lauzon, who I don't know why he was in that spot, but he got the goal.
I think it's going to be important that he has good health this season. Yes. Missed 44 games, out 4 to 6 months initially, and then missed the remainder of the season. Got injured, I think it was back in November. And then in December, on New Year's Eve, that's when he came back for like 5 or 6 games, I believe. And then after that, he was out. And I'm wondering, because I watched a lot of YouTube videos too last night, and I'm wondering if that fight on New Year's Eve against Marcus Foligno, if that's the one that put him out for good, because he got into a scrap, and then after that, lower body, and he was done. So
he's been tagged in a couple of fights. He's willing to fight, but he might be going to the Keegan Colasar school of fighting. Right? It seems like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've been complaining. VGK needs some sandpaper here. That was one of my areas they needed to improve on. And 2 seasons ago, Chris, you'll like this, 98 penalty minutes for Jeremy Lauzon.
Yeah, no, that's a chunk. I mean, listen, we have talked about this for probably about the last 2 seasons. The Golden Knights do lack physicality, maybe isn't the word, but they do lack
grit.
Yeah, they definitely lacked the right amount of grit, and Nick Hague was not that person. He was a big teddy bear. He's an elite
fighter. Elite fighter,
though. To that.
Yeah, he's an elite fighter.
Oh, he's a good fighter. I don't know, elite's a big word, but he was a good fighter. The other locker room isn't necessarily talking about Nick Hague. Okay, guys, he's gonna you hit someone, Nick Hague's gonna come after you. Lauzon, I think, definitely has that gear in him where, if there is a big hit on any of the VGK players, he'll be the first one in there to get his hands dirty and take care of things. Just some side-by-side stats, because Nick Hague is the replacement here. Lauzon has a total of 316 NHL games, 28 years old. Nick Hague is a 26-year-old who's played 364 games. They both average right around 17. I think Hague was 17:33 of ice time. Lauzon is right at 17:39, I think. So, I mean, like, this isn't the spot where the Golden Knights are going with this experienced vet over a younger player. It's really the same body of work for the 2 players. So there's going to be probably a little bit of a fall off maybe on the skills side, but hopefully the physicality and the grits, it's made up. Now, the concern is you don't want a defenseman getting 98 penalty
I was
minutes
just
throughout
going
a
to
season
say
because
exactly.
now you're
It's going to
taxing
hurt
the
the
rest
team,
of the D throughout the game and things
and
like
they were
that.
good on the
And
PK, right?
yeah,
VGK.
no, it's 100. There's definitely this one could backfire a little bit, but then you do have a player like Ben Hutton waiting in the wings. Although it seems like the Golden Knights do whatever they can not to play Ben Hutton.
Oh, poor
So
Ben Hutton.
yeah, let's see how it shakes out.
Lauzon a couple of seasons ago, 79 games, 14 points, and then again 98 penalty minutes, which he has to cut down on substantially because that will come back to hurt VGK. When you think of Jeremy Lauzon, he's in the record books. 2023-24, 386 hits. It's the most in any NHL season. So again, he will be again in that area. He exceeds what Nick Hague brought to the table because he's just going to hit the snot out of you. And this is something in the grit department that the Golden Knights desperately need. They need
300, 300. I'm going to jump in real fast. 316 games for Lausanne and 1,132 hits. Also has 374 block shots. Nick Hague, 360 games, so more games. 572, so not even half as many
not even
hits.
half. See, there you go.
And block
So,
shots. Hague blocked more shots though, but
yeah, there's an uptick there. That should be pretty good, right? I think a player that does not produce a lot of points, but again, like you need that physicality in this lineup. Something that I've said that VGK is a more finesse team and they need to add some grit if they're going to take it to the next level. And on the forecheck, this guy's he'll be outstanding for the Golden Knights, but he does need to stay healthy. That's a lot of time to miss this past season.
100%. And there's obviously concerns here with Lausanne and how that's going to end up impacting the Golden Knights lineup. Again, Kelly McCrimmon has a pretty good credit rating. He's probably about in the 830 rate in the 830 ballpark as far as his FICO score. Maybe we'll create a different type of score for general managers. But you know, he certainly finds ways to get the most out of this lineup. And you look at some of the lower end deals like the Brett Howden deal and stuff like that, how that's worked out. Even Kolesar is on a dime for what he's able to do. Tomas Hertl only paying 6.2 or 6.8 million versus, you know, his overall $8 million price tag. So, you know, in McCrimmon, we trust with this one. And if Lauzon can be out there for, you know, 65, 70 games, have a healthy playoff run, he's tough to play against. Type of player where, you know, the other team's forwards go over the boards, they see him back, they're like, oh crap, this guy again. You know, it's the Alec Martinez business model. Going to put him into the second row and eating some nachos with the dude in the front row or something like that.
Yeah, I think we'll see. But I think VGK sorta might have fleeced the Predators on this one. And another reason why they might have really won this trade without seeing any results was, well, Sissons and contract, huh?
Nick Hague's contract.
Well, 50% of the contract is retained by the Predators. So the contract, I think, is 1.4. So half of that is being retained. I don't know how McCrimmon gets these teams to retain contract money, and then they also got a third round draft pick, which you don't care about. You don't care about any draft picks, but
stop wasting time.
Event.
We only got a 30-minute pod. Who cares about draft picks? No, I mean, listen, good trade. And listen, the Preds identify Hague as a top 4, you know, that type of player with upside. I think Hague definitely has that upside. We've questioned his physicality, even though dude's bigger than a giraffe, but we've questioned his physicality. He can fight definitely.
Elite elite.
He does have a good shot from the point when he does let it rip. He just doesn't let it rip enough. So, you know, this fills 2 voids, right? Nicholas Waugh gone, obviously. Sissons in, going to help the fourth line, going to help the penalty kill, and just a good player, going to win a bunch of faceoffs and play responsible. And then you get basically the 6th defenseman on the team in Lauzon. And can he stay healthy? Can he help the Golden Knights to their ultimate path of improving on a second round exit last season?
Yeah, and already Hague is getting blasted there in Nashville. I want to say Nashville.
They're blasting the contract. They're not blasting Hague.
Of course. Well, and also though, him stepping up to a top 4 role defensively, I think they're starting to question
Hey,
that.
good on Haig. I hope he's great. I really do hope
Yeah,
it works
same
out for
here.
him.
We'll be
100%.
rooting for him.
100%.
Don't forget tomorrow's WTF, What the Friday. Leave your comments on our X or on our YouTube channel, and please subscribe there. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.